Before we get into the episode, I am thrilled to announce that the EntreMD Business School is open for enrollment. The EntreMD Business School is the only school of its kind for physicians who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Over the last 2 years, we have had hundreds of doctors go through the school with unbelievable results. Some of them run brands, some of them run private practices, some of them are coaches, some have other kinds of service-based businesses or product-based businesses. And we've had people come in and cross the 6-figure milestone, cross the 7-figure milestone, cross the multiple 7-figure milestone. You will be in a place where you'll get the coaching, the community, the accountability that you need to thrive as an entrepreneur, especially in the times that we're in. So maybe you've been following me for a while. Maybe you've been getting so much out of the EntreMD podcast and you've been wondering, how can I work with Dr.Una and the community more? Well, this is your chance. Come join us in the EntreMD Business School. It is application only. So go to entremd.com/business to turn in your application. I cannot tell you how many doctors have made statements like this. I recovered my investment in the first week. I recovered my investment in my bank account in the first 90 days. This is the best investment I've made in myself ever. I want you to have that kind of story, not just a story of building a great business that serves a lot and earns a lot, but having a business that gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. So don't wait any longer. entremd.com/business. And now for the episode. Hi, docs. Welcome to the EntreMD Podcast, where it is all about helping amazing physicians just like you embrace entrepreneurship so you can have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on your terms. I'm your host, Dr. Una. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the EntreMD Podcast. Listen, I think about you guys, my listeners, all the time. Okay. And I say that because something just happened yesterday and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to share this with my audience. This is not even my podcast recording day, right? But I was like, I have to come share it. Okay. So this is going to be fun. And I'm going to be showing you the number one reason why you don't have enough clients. This is going to be so good. And I'm the guinea pig because this is all going to come from something that happened to me personally. And I'm going to be sharing my response to it. All right. Now, before that, I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Rosemary Thomas. She is one of the students in the EntreMD Business School, and she shared one of her wins, and we celebrate wins all the time. I'm sure you know this from listening to the podcast, but in the community, it's a habit, right? We celebrate our wins, big, small, and then what that does is it sets us up to where we believe we are unstoppable because look at all the progress we've made, okay? All right, so she shared as one of her wins that she surpassed her expectations for revenue for her private practice in the month of October, and she ended up making 40% more revenue than the month of September. I need you to think about how huge that is, right? 40%. And she's like, this is because I started selling my practice. So we do a lot of things in the business school as far as clarifying your message and dominating platforms and all of that. So she took all of that and started applying it to her private practice. And the result was 40% increase in revenue. That is huge. Okay. So congratulations, Dr. Rosemary Thomas. Super proud, super honored that I get to be part of your journey. And I can't wait to see what else you do. That is just phenomenal. Okay. All right. So now to our episode, the number one reason why you don't have enough clients. Now, yesterday, I was scrolling on Facebook, which, I scroll on Facebook too, right? So I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw a post in a group that I'm a part of. And this is a group that I'm somewhat active in. And the question was asked, what podcasts are you guys listening to? And to tell you God's honest truth, I, went to the comments I just went to the comments and I was like, someone's going to talk about the EntreMD podcast and I want to go thank them for giving me a shout out and all of this stuff. So this post had been up for about 3 hours by the time I saw it, and there were 60 comments. And I was like, let me just go thank them. So I'm scrolling through, right? And I want you, before I even tell you, I want you to think, right? 60 comments, in a group, over 10,000 doctors. That's where, the post was done. So this is my ideal audience. I'm active in the group, all that stuff. Just pick a number out of 60 comments. What number do you think, right? Number of people would mention the EntreMD podcast. And so I'm scrolling through, and I scroll through the entire thing once, and I scroll through the entire thing twice. And to my amazement, there was not one mention of the EntreMD podcast. Not one. I was like, well, maybe these are other people listening to other things, right? But it made me think about the thing that I always say. The number one problem that businesses have is obscurity. Nobody knows we exist. Nobody knows. Okay. Now, at the time when I was looking at this post, we have had 50,000 downloads in a little under a year. We've been listened to in 77 countries. So, we're there, and I was like, okay, and before this recording, I went to look at that post again. At this point, the post has been up for 23 hours. Okay. So this is almost a whole day. There are 192 comments, and the podcast is not mentioned once. So I thought about it, and I was like, what is my response to this going to be? And I want to share that response to you. And I want you to think about how it applies to your business and apply the same thing. Okay. So you have to come to terms with the fact that you don't have all the clients you want because people do not know you exist. So what was my response? I'll tell you 3 responses that I had. And, I think you're going to get a lot out of this. So my first thing was, you have to have the right attitude, which I was proud about because I didn't have the wrong attitude. I didn't look at that and become mad. Like, why didn't anybody mention my podcast? Like, I know some of these people even listen to it and all of that stuff. I could have been mad. No, I wasn't mad because that's crazy. Why would you be mad, right? I could have been sad. Like, nobody mentioned my podcast. Does that mean it's not good enough? Does it mean, that it's not up to par with the other podcasts that people listen to? Does it mean nobody knows me? I could have chosen to be sad, which is ridiculous, right? Why would you do that, right? So sad is not an option. Nobody has beef with you. There's nobody that's saying, oh, your podcast is not up to par. You just haven't touched enough people, all right? Or you touch one segment, but you haven't touched these people, right? So that's ridiculous. Mad, sad, that's a ridiculous response. And it's the same way when people don't choose your business. I want you to think in those terms. What's your response? And there's another way to respond. And that was my response. I was like, this is a blessed discovery, right? Like, here I am thinking that we talk to a lot of people. We talk to a lot of doctors, right? That's what I'm thinking. But this is a discovery like, wait a minute. Number one, don't slow down because there's so many people that do not know you exist. Don't you dare. Number two, I appreciate all the hard work you've put in, but if you truly want to reach your BHAG of helping 80,000 doctors, if you truly want to be the business school of choice for physicians who are thinking about entrepreneurship, if you truly want all those things, then there are a lot of people that don't know you. And you got to work on that, right? So I could have chosen mad, sad, or blessed discovery, and I chose blessed discovery, okay? I chose to have the right attitude about it. I chose to have a level head about it. I chose to see it as a blessing that I'm discovering this. That's the attitude. And in your business, when things aren't working the way you want, or you're not getting the market share that you want, or you're not getting the clients you want, see it as a discovery. Okay. Don't get mad. Don't get sad. Those are useless emotions that will stop you from doing what you need to do. Okay. All right. So that was the first thing. The first thing is the right attitude. Okay. First thing. The second thing was a decision I made to continue to be consistent and to get louder. Okay. So here we are, 192 comments. Not a single person mentions the EntreMD podcast. You guys are amused, right? That I'm laughing at myself for the whole world to listen. But anyway, at the time when this happened, I post about my podcast every day, like 5 days a week. I share every single episode. I email it to my mailing list every week. Like, I've been consistent. But even in all that consistency, there's still this group of over 10,000 doctors that have no idea that I exist. No idea that the podcast exists, right? So I chose to keep my commitment to be consistent, which means I will talk about it every day, which means I will ask people to share it, which means I will ask for reviews every day. I'll continue to do that. I'll continue to email about it at least once a week. I'm going to be consistent, but I'm also going to be louder. So I'll be consistent, but I'm going to make a lot more noise. So get ready. Okay. And I can't tell you how many times, I'm like, oh, what are you doing to promote your business? Oh, I post about it about 2 days a week. Listen to me. 2 days a week is not going to fix the problem of obscurity. It just isn't. Okay. You're going to need to be consistent. It takes effort to put yourself out there. It takes effort to get market share. It takes effort to become the whatever it is you're trying to be. Okay. So consistency. Are you emailing your list every week? Even if you're in private practice, are you emailing your list every week? Are you posting about every day? Are you reaching out to people? Are you doing all of those? You need to do it consistently. And whatever you're doing, you need to do it louder. Okay. The third thing I did is I made a decision to collaborate more, right? Because I have access to my audience. There are other people who have access to their audiences, right? The only way for our paths to cross is for me to collaborate with the leaders of those different audiences. Now, you might go like, isn't that being manipulative and stuff like that? No, it's not. I mean, so the mindset to have is abundance, right? It's not as though if I talk to your audience that your audience disappears from you. I mean, like, that's not the way that works, right? So, but I'm going to collaborate more. I'm going to get my name out there more. I'm going to talk to leaders of tribes and leaders of groups and leaders of different associations and stuff more. Why? I need to get the name out there. I need to get the name out there because I'm on a mission to help. EntreMD is not just a business or just a podcast. It's a movement, right? We've been told that we are lousy entrepreneurs, and that is not true. We've been told that we can't build profitable businesses, and that's not true. We've been told this is the only way you can practice medicine. No, we can practice medicine on our own terms. And EntreMD helps doctors do that. So I have to get the word out to doctors. Okay. All right. So for instance, I could look at those 192 comments and go like, what? I wasn't mentioned once. Or I can go like, wait a minute, who are they listening to? And whose podcast do I need to be on? So they can find me. Okay. So that's my lesson. Okay. So that's my funny thing that happened to me. That's my response. And I want to challenge you that should be your response too. When things don't work out in business, I want you to have a level head. Think about when something doesn't go right with a patient and they code. Who wants a physician to run a code, a physician who is mad and sad? You want someone with a level head who is like, okay, I'm going to default to my training and I'm going to do what I need to do to help this patient survive. That's the same thing you do with your business. So you don't get mad or sad. You see it as an opportunity and you see that this is something, I need to do what I need to do to fix this. You develop a strategy and you fix it. You follow an algorithm and you fix it. Okay. So you have the right attitude. The commitment to consistency has to be there because I've been consistent and I wasn't mentioned in 109 comments. So that's just to tell you that consistency is like the baseline. You have to do that. And whatever you're doing, do more. Whatever you're doing, do it louder. Whatever you're doing, do it bigger. Okay. If you want to get your business name out there. And then collaborate. The whole idea of doing things by yourself, that doesn't work. You know what I mean? You need to get into different circles. You need to meet new people. You meet new people, you meet their people. That's kind of the way this works. Okay, so collaborate, network. And you might be going like, I don't do people. And I feel you and I feel your pain. I'm the one who was a socially awkward, super shy, introverted introvert. But again, I always say this, that if there's one thing I could go back and change, I would fix the people skills. I would have fixed that so much sooner. I would have lived a life where I embraced getting to know people. I would have embraced building networks. I would have embraced all of that. Okay. So the reason why I made that mistake is so that you don't have to make it. So I already did it. Find a new mistake to make. Okay. So figure out people, build your networks, ask for referrals and all of that stuff. Okay. So usually I give you a call to action that will move your business forward. But today I'm asking for a present. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to help me share this everywhere. This is a movement, okay? I want to ask you to help me get the word about this podcast out, okay? So share it on your social media. You can hashtag EntreMD. I will look for it and I'll shout you out back. You can share it in the groups that you're a part of, not in a slimy, sleazy way, okay, as is appropriate. But hey, if it's helped you, say, listen, I've been struggling with this and I listened to this podcast episode, like Help, I Hate Selling, or you listen to the one on the 7 thoughts that have made me who I am. And you're like, oh my gosh, it was such an amazing podcast episode. Share it in the groups that you're a part of. And you have friends who someone just started a practice or someone's thinking about business or someone's an entrepreneur. We have episodes for all of that. Just say, listen, you have to go listen to this podcast. If this has helped you in any way, what I'm challenging you to do today is to share it and help me get the word out. Help me get the word about this movement out. Okay. Now, also apply it to your business. Okay. So I want you to imagine where you become that person who's level-headed and you've made the commitment to be consistent and to be louder, and you collaborate more. And what you do is that the number of people, the size of your audience grows exponentially. And then you now have to start turning down clients or collaborating with others to get them to help you to carry the load, because it's a lot of people that you're now able to help because so many more people know about the amazing thing you do. That could be you. That could be your story. Okay. So I want to challenge you to do that. I've shared all my stuff, just to give you a lesson that I know can help you in your business. So do that. And I can't wait to celebrate you saying that, oh my goodness, in 4 short weeks, this is what I was able to do. Or in 3 short months, this is the transformation that has happened in my business. And that can totally be your story. Okay. Dr. Rosemary Thomas, I shared her story earlier. She has been in the EntreMD Business School for a little under 3 months. And look at where she is, right? 40% increase in revenue. That could be you. But it would require you putting yourself out there in a higher magnitude, because the number one reason why you don't have all the clients you want is because of obscurity. People do not know you exist. So thank you so much for listening. I've already said share, but please share this episode and share the podcast with a friend, a coworker, another doctor in your life. And I cannot wait to hear your story. And I will see you on the next episode of the EntreMD Podcast. If you love this podcast, please take a moment to subscribe, share, and review it on iTunes. As you go about your week, remember, you're not just an MD, you're an EntreMD. Don't forget to tune in next week for another great episode. Until next time.